All right, we are live. Welcome to the Let me try it again. Welcome to the Add1Challenge number 23, Kickoff Hangout. Thank you for everyone who's joining us. And so the intention of this call, this Kickoff Hangout, it's so that we set a clear intention of what the next 90 days is going to be. At the same time, set you up so that you have the highest chance to reach your language learning goal. And how this call is going to work is going to be a lot of interaction. There is going to be a lot of so it's not just going to be me talking the whole time. So when I ask you questions, let's all interact together and see how we can brainstorm together, and we go forward from here. So first of all, let's introduce everybody here. What language you're learning and why you're learning your language, and of course, tell us your name. Who would like to go first?
Okay, me.
Oh, all right, Jake. Also, where you're from. Tell us where you're from too. Go ahead, Jake.
Oh, it's me. Okay. Welcome, everyone. Hi. Jake is my nickname, but my real first name is Stu Greenbaum. I'm from San Diego, California. I'm learning German because I've always just loved the language and the culture. I've been studying it for about a year, but cannot speak it well at all. I can understand a lot, but speaking is really difficult. I speak Spanish relatively fluently, so it's even more frustrating for me that I can't speak German at all. Very happy to be part of this challenge and looking forward to working with everyone to improve my German.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Stu. All right. Who's next?
Yes, me. Okay.
Go on. Amir?
Amir, you can go.
Amir, yes, okay, it's okay. Okay, Amir Talib from Iraq. Of course, my native language is Arabic, and my native language is English. I'm studying the English language from the classes in the high school and in my college. Because of my specialization in English is petroleum engineering, I have a master's degree and a bachelor degree in petroleum engineering, and we have many foreign companies in Iraq working in Iraq in petroleum field. So the English language is very important in my specialty, and also I do love English language from my childhood, and all my colleagues told me always that your English is good. For that, I just want to improve my speaking and language and listening skills. For that, I have joined the Add1Challenge.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. So for those who just joined, we are basically just introducing ourselves, where you're from, what language you're learning, and why you're learning that language. So who's next?
I can go. That's all right. Okay, yeah. So my name is Phil Sahir. I'm from New York City. I'm a classical guitarist and blogger, and I'm learning Italian because there's a possibility of going to a music festival in Italy this summer, and they have a special scholarship for Americans. The hope is that I can use this as kind of an extra point, a brownie point winner to get me these points to get the scholarship. And it's funny because I bought the Benny Lewis's book this year, or last year actually, in the case that I would learn Italian, and then here comes the message, Add1Challenge just for Italian learners. So I was like, it's calling my name. So that's why I'm here. I'm excited. So thanks, Brian.
Great, man. This is the second time, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you for joining us. All right. Who's next?
Hi, I can go next. Can you guys hear me?
Yes,
Hello?
we can.
Yes, we can. We can hear you perfectly.
I'm sorry. Okay. Sorry about that. My connection poor. Max, native Englisher. I just at Hawaii, and I've been learning Japanese for about 2.5 years. Been speaking since day one, but pretty poor conversation. And yeah, the sad one at the time because in Hawaii there's a lot of Japanese speakers, and hoping to up my speaking abilities so I can conversate more naturally with coworkers and other Japanese folks I meet here in Hawaii. So that's me.
Great. Thank you, Max. Thank you for joining us. All right. Who's next?
Me, Nuri.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. Hello. Sorry, I was sleepy with my daughter. For that, I I prefer you don't see me.
No problem. So tell us where you're from and what language you're learning and why.
I'm from Peru. I've been living here in the United States for 3 years. So I can improve my English skills with you because I want to speak in English here in the United States. I want to speak with my daughter's teacher, so I really need to improve my speaking, my vocabulary. So I hope to improve in
Great.
short time.
Where did you mention where in the state are you right now?
Yeah.
Where are you?
I'm from Peru, but I've been living in Florida.
Florida. Okay. I just wasn't. You said you didn't say. We don't know where you are. Cool. Florida. Okay. Great. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
All
No,
right.
Thank you.
Cool. All right. Who's next? Either Oscar or.
Okay, I'll go.
All right.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Oscar Hernandez. I was born and raised in Mexico to learn Japanese in this Add1Challenge. I've gotten my interest in Japanese from basically the same source everyone does, which is anime and movies. I've gotten some exposition through language. I think I can piece out a conversation. Not really fluent though, and I'm trying to get to the point where I can speak in a bit more of a carefree manner with native speakers.
Great. Thank you for joining us, Oscar. All right. Julio? Julio? He says, hello?
Julio?
Julio? Can you...
Hello?
Hello? Would you like to tell us where you're from, what language you're learning, and why you're learning the language?
I live in Uruguay. I'm Uruguayan. I live in Uruguay. My challenge is speak English in 90 days. It's difficult for me to speak. I read, I understand, but it's difficult to me to speak. The challenge is great. Congrats to you for the creation that this tool is amazing. It's really amazing. It's a great opportunity for us, for practice. It's a great idea.
Great.
For Brian. Brian is the creator of this platform. That's right?
Right, right. You're just getting started. It's day 0 right now, or day 1. So you'll get better. Why are you learning English? Can you tell us why?
I need learn English for my my profession. I engineer, and I read all time the book for for the information for the I teach in the university, and I need read all time, but it's difficult to me communicate with well in English. I can read, but I don't I can't speak.
Right.
You understand?
I understand. Now, but you can already speak a little bit. Very good already. So we will continue to get better in the next 90 days together. Thank you for joining us.
Okay. Thanks.
All right, Zach, you're the last one. Can you unmute yourself? You there, Zach? Maybe not. All right. So let's get started. So I'm going to ask you guys questions. So it's going to be an interaction. So what is your goal on day 90? What is your goal on day 90?
The question is for me?
For everybody. But,
okay.
But you're going to answer, what is your goal on day 90? You can share with us right now.
I think the goal is speak with a native speaker English for 15 minutes.
Very
That's
good.
Right?
Very good. Very good. For you is to hold it, actually for everybody. And also some people may have a different goal, right? Some people holding that 15-minute conversation is the first step. Some people are a little bit more advanced in the language and they want to dive in deeper in the language, for example, the pronunciation or the grammar or the vocabulary, and prove that in that 15-minute conversation in day 90. So everyone has different goal, but everybody will make that 15-minute conversation on day 90. So what are some of the keys of making that happen? What are some of the keys from now on till day 90 so that you can have that 15-minute conversation in your target language?
Work, I think the more important is work hard.
Work hard?
Every day.
Okay. Work hard every day.
Every day. You can work every day. Speak in my case. Speak with another classmate.
Mm-hmm.
And practice.
Great. Now I'm very glad that you brought that point up, because working hard is putting time into our language is very important. We can join the Add1Challenge, but if we just sit at home and do nothing, don't do any work, you're not going to have that 15-minute conversation on day 90. So it's going to require you to put in some work. And the other side, I also want to point out very important that you also need to balance everything. Balance your life and implement your learning while balancing your everyday life. Because if you put in like too much work in the beginning, if you study 2 hours or 3 hours every day, you're not going to last 90 days. So what's really important about that is that you balance your playtime and study time, and you take breaks in between, so that you increase your chance of having that on day 90. Thank you so much. Okay, anybody else? What are the ideas? What are some of the keys?
Yes.
Oh,
Can I speak? Okay.
Amir first. Amir.
Yes, okay, thank you. Of course, as Mr. Julia said, it's very important working harder, playtime, and study time. In addition, I think that speaking with the native speaker, for example, if for English, for example, speaking maybe from American accent or Britain one or any other accents that we want to master. The interactive speaking face to face, like this conversation between us, of course, give a jump for each one of us, and to master something or to improve our skills, especially in speaking and listening. Of course, I think that this conversation is very effective, and we have used to take the language as it is the conventional ways in the class. So we didn't have used this interactive way as you do in Add1Challenge, where face-to-face, as I said, way is very interactive in improving our skills and to overcome the obstacles and the struggles. So this is my answer. Thank you, Brian.
Great. Speaking as soon as possible is going to help you have that 15-minute conversation on day 90, of course, right? If you can't wait, if you wait until day 89 to start speaking, if you start speaking on day 89, you most likely won't have that 15-minute conversation on day 90. So the more opportunity, the more you set up these calls as much as possible, the better. For you, Arabic, your native language is Arabic, right?
Yes, Arabic is my native language.
Right. So if that's your native language, there are also other people who is learning Arabic in the Add1Challenge. So you can set these exchange with these people who are learning Arabic, and then you can practice speaking English with them. So
yes, I have a group in Facebook that have been joined by Maureen.
Great.
And yes, I made communication with them, something about the writing in Arabic and the exchange with them. And they are very, very generous with us, of course, and give a hand of help. And this is great. Thank you, Brian. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Great. Speaking as early as possible. Okay, great. One more. Can you give me another key of how you can be successful, had to have that 15-minute conversation on day 90?
Okay, I'll go.
All right, Oscar.
Okay. All right. For me, I think one of the personal struggles that I battle with the most is trying to wrap my head around explanations regarding grammar or regarding particles in Japanese.
Right.
So I think I need to balance a way to be effective about learning those structures, buckling down and study, but at the same time not making the process so excruciating that I don't want to care about grammar.
Exactly. Very, very good point. So this is actually the biggest key, I think it is, for you to be successful in your to reach your goal in the next 90 days. I think all the things that we talked about are correct. These are very important. And at the same time, one of the things that I see after running all these Add1Challenges, the most important thing is how to create a fun, sustainable, and consistent routine. So language learning become a part of your life. And the first thing I said is fun, right? Kind of like what you said, Oscar. If it's not fun, if it's like torturing, why would you want to study another day tomorrow, right? So creating a fun, sustainable, consistent routine so that it becomes a part of your life, it's very, very important. It's part of the most important key for you to be able to hold that 15-minute conversation on day 90, which is why we always say this quote: do whatever it takes in this hour for you to want to learn another hour tomorrow. So this is a quote by Anthony Lauder, a polyglot. So what do you guys think Anthony mean when he said, do whatever it takes in this hour so that you want to learn an hour tomorrow? Frey, you want to go? Frey?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I think one of the things, I totally agree with that, and I've talked with him about this too. I think what's really important is sometimes we're always so caught up in doing things the way we've always done them, and so for instance, musicians, we love to practice a piece of music from beginning to end, and then we never really stop in between when we actually make the mistakes because we think, well, I played it 50 times, it should just get better by itself. And so we do the same with language learning. We like to just look at the same dialogue over and over. And there's a lot of techniques that we can use, such as something called backchaining that actors use that Michael Levi Harris talks about. You can hear about that in Natural Fluency or things like that. For pronunciation, for words. And Brian, you know this, there's a lot of different components to language learning: listening, reading, writing, comprehension. And so I think it's easy for us to get frustrated with one field and then just say, all right, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. But there's 3 other fields we can work on. And so if we get frustrated with listening, go to reading. If we get frustrated with reading, go to comprehension. With that, go to writing. And so, I don't know, that's just some encouragement for everyone. Maybe you don't want to work on all 4 of those things, but make sure you do at least 2, so that if you do get really fed up and bored with one thing, you have something else to go off of that you won't be so angry at yourself with. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. I think, for this specific challenge is definitely speaking, listening, right? You need these 2 to actually have a conversation. And I think I really like what you said about in the beginning, when you said about how we are very set in a certain way of learning from school. That's the first. We learn from school how to learn a language, but at the same time, we all know that it's probably not the most effective way to learn a language for us.
Right.
Maybe it's effective for somebody, but not for everybody, right? So I think for me, when I hear the words "do whatever it takes in this hour," meanings going beyond what you've known in the past,
right?
And exploring, okay, what else? How else can I make this fun? Okay, one way that you mentioned is go to another field like listening or reading to make it more. To try and not really make it more fun, but just kind of coming from a different angle, right?
Yeah.
But there are many ways that you can learn a language so that you can make it fun. So that's what I hear when I hear "do whatever it takes in this hour." So you want to learn in an hour tomorrow, because if you don't want to learn in an hour tomorrow, most likely you're not going to want to learn in an hour the day after tomorrow. Is there anyone else you want to add? Anybody else want to add from hearing this quote? Okay.
I want to add on something onto this.
Okay.
And just very quickly, because I didn't introduce myself, I'm Nina, and you'll be reading a lot from me in the Add1Challenge, because I'm also supporting Brian along with Elena, who can't be on this call, to run it. And so for me, I think I really want to draw on the last thing that you said, Brian, which is do whatever it takes in this hour for you to want to learn another hour tomorrow. It has something to do with techniques and with trying different things, but for me, it's especially finding what I love to do. Because what I love to do, I want to do again tomorrow. If I don't love it, I'm kind of like, okay, tomorrow, yes, I still have that goal, I still want to reach that goal, but it's not really sustainable, or it's not really fun to just think, oh yeah, tomorrow, great, I have, planned out tomorrow I'm going to be working on grammar and then on sentences and then on this. If I don't actually, I'm excited, I'm looking forward to doing this. So in my experience, for everyone, that's something slightly different. For me personally, I noticed in my past Add1Challenges that it's speaking with people, even if I can't really speak it, but speaking especially about things that I really care about, like things that I that are interesting to me personally, and not just learning what a book tells me, because that's the first steps to learn in a language. So that's, yeah, I just wanted to underline that it's really about finding something that you really love, because that's what you want to do again tomorrow.
Thank you, Nina. Thank you. Great. I think that's a secret to learning in anything. You know, if you can discover ways of what you love about, or you're stuck somewhere. Okay, let me discover ways how I can learn so that I can at least open to liking it. You know, that if you can actually practice and learn, explore, and not be set in your old ways, you know, you can learn anything, you can master anything. So moving on to the next question. So what do you think, so in terms of the how you feel in the next 90 days, what is one thing that's pretty much guaranteed is going to happen in the next 90 days in terms of how you feel about learning the language you want to learn? Anybody?
Well, I guess it's guaranteed I will get better. I probably won't get worse. I don't know how much better, but I will definitely get better in some way, which is reassuring.
Great. I think that's pretty much guaranteed if you put in the work, right? If you continuous, but before that, before you put in the work, actually not before that. You continue to put in the work, and of course, then it makes sense you get better at it. But what I'm trying to point out, there's also something else that will pretty much guarantee will happen. That will be in the way of you getting, getting better in your language. What is that one thing that would guarantee to happen? Oscar?
From my personal experience, I always find that I have this sudden surge of motivation every time I find a resource or a tool or a method that seems fun and interesting to me. And one thing that I do the most times is I will do it and do it and do it and do it and do it until I actually like burn out. Even if I'm not supposed to do that much, I will do that much. And then I'll be like, okay, I'm done. I'm just tired. I've burned out. I've made so much space for this thing that I cannot do it anymore.
You're not the only one. It sounds very familiar.
Very good. Very good. Now, this is exactly what I'm pointing to. And this is pretty much guarantees going to happen. Even if you don't burn yourself out in the beginning, right? If you pace yourself, in the next 90 days, at some point, you most likely will have a thought, I don't feel like learning today. Or like, oh man, this is boring. Or like, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it later. Or like, it's pretty much guaranteed that's going to happen. Or also another thing that's pretty much guaranteed is going to happen is that life is going to happen. You know, maybe something will happen. You know, 3 months is not a long time, but it's also not a short time. A lot of things can happen in your life. So life is going to happen. So knowing that there will be time that we may need to put in a nay in our tracking sheet, knowing that life is going to happen, that could stop us from learning, knowing that we may burn out. Knowing this already, so how can we plan ahead so that we can overcome it when it comes up? Now, this is where the brainstorming comes in. Okay, how can we overcome this when it happens?
Okay, I think. Oh yeah, sorry.
Go ahead,
Max. Okay. I think for me, one of the things that it happens is that when I fall back from my learning habits, I have this thought in my mind that it's not worth going if I don't keep the string. Like I've done this for X number of days. Now if I didn't do it one day, now like the chain is broken. I don't feel that motivation anymore. So I think it's important to make like a mental note, I don't know, wallpaper, some kind of post-it in a place where I can see it, where it says that if I didn't do it one day, it doesn't mean that I don't have to do it the next 300 something 4 days of the year that I have left.
Amazing, amazing, Oscar. You're just hitting all the right points, because, you know, I see people. It happens so many times that we run the Add1 Challenge. People go like, "Oh, I've studied 68 days in a row, and I didn't study for yesterday. Oh my God, it's the end of the world." Seriously, I'm such a bad person. I hate myself for breaking that chain. You know, it I don't want to say it's gonna happen, but it's one of the key to it's okay to tell yourself that's okay if it happens. It's okay if you have one nay, if you have a streak of yays, and I think the key is to learn how to get ourselves back up. That's the key. You know, the sooner you can learn how to get yourself back up from your fall, the more successful you'll be. And in the last call, we came up with a term called play your nay into a yay. So if you have a few nays in a row, play with it and play until you get into your yay. Which we all have. What we promise to do, what, 30 minutes a day. We can play for 30 minutes in a language, right? So that's one of the idea, that you can play your way to your yay. Any other ideas of how you can, knowing yourself, how can you plan ahead so that you can continue and get yourself back up when you fall? Jake, do you have an idea?
Maybe something involving adult beverages as a reward. Yeah, that could help.
Okay, great. Try that. Whatever works. And it may not work. You know, you may just get more intoxicated and you don't remember to study.
It would make learning German more fun, I think. Definitely.
Okay, great. You try. So this is all about trying. And if that works for you, some people may work better with reward. Some people may work better with punishment.
I really like the reward idea. I really like
okay, great.
It was in the application. That makes a lot of sense.
Zach, can you mute your mic? Okay. All right. So any other idea?
What? Sorry, I have something.
Okay, Amir. Go ahead, Amir. Amir, you want to share?
Yes, I will.
What
I didn't hear the question. There was an interruption.
No problem.
The internet.
Question is, one of the things that will pretty much guarantee will happen in the next 90 days is that you may not feel like studying, or life can happen and stop you. How can, or you may get burned out, because, you know, we learned language previously before, you know what stops us, pretty much. So, for example, maybe some people are fear of speaking, right? So how can you plan that so that you continue to study after you fall?
Yes, that's right. Maybe the motivation from the others.
Right.
When we see the others, and there is, and of course, when sharing our problems or something like this, and see the feedbacking and the answers, and see what have been the previous learners that have been faced in their ways, and of course that you are not the alone one, that you have been something, or you do not have the courage to speak or to master the language you want to master. So of course, as I said, sharing the problems or sharing something like this, see what have been faced, especially the same language, the partners of you, when you want to speak for example, to learn the English and see
Right.
the other one who spoke in English and face the same problem. Maybe will be help.
Great, great. This is a great point. Now, see, this is the magic of that one challenge. We are not, first of all, we have people like in this call who are starting the same time as you. So you guys are all on the same journey together. And when you are, when you hit a wall, when you're struggling, or when you fail, this is the perfect time to use the support in the group by reaching out and sharing with, hey, I hit a bump for the past
Yes.
3 days. I need some support here. This is my struggle. Can you guys help me out here? And if you look at our group, everybody will come and support you. But the most important thing is you gotta share and reach out to say you're having a bump, because we won't know. We don't know until you actually reach out to us. So take advantage of the group whenever you are hitting with a wall, when you struggle. Share with us, and then so we can all support each other. And also another point that you said is there are people who are learning the same language as you. Perfect. And then there's also people who are learning your native language. Perfect. We all support each other. And I think this is one of the most powerful things about that one challenge, where we learn together, support each other, and motivate each other. Great. Anything else? Anything? Any other ideas that you can get yourself back up?
I an idea. Today I communicate with 3 people in the challenge. 3 people that they going to learn Spanish, and I think the people speak English and I speak Spanish, and I think it's an opportunity for I can speak in English and the other people can respond in Spanish. Is an opportunity. For me, it's an opportunity to speak with other people in English, because I can learn for myself. I can read for myself, but for speaking, the motivation for speaking is very important. The other people, the other people is motivated as well. You can understand the idea.
Yes, yes. Use the people who are in the Add1Challenge group who are learning your native language, and then help each other out in speaking. Yeah. I understand you perfectly. I think everyone in the call understood you perfectly. Thank you so much for sharing. Frey, you want to share?
Wait, me? Or, oh wait, did I just mute myself?
Go ahead. Yeah, you want to share?
What okay. Are some of the ways yeah, so yeah, what I was gonna say is not just to like make sure you for when you need to pick yourself up, but also for preventive measures. So something that Benny Lewis always is really big on is no matter how busy your commuter life is, you got time. And so, you know, he loves using his phone, he loves using podcasts. And so that was something that helped me get a lot of EAs. The first time I did the Add1Challenge was, even though I was in school and practicing guitar for 5-6 hours a day, on the walk home from school, to school, whatever, you have your phone, your device, and you just load on podcasts, so that even though you're not actively sitting and studying, at least you can knock out the 10 minutes of your 30. And heck, you could split your 30 minutes per day into 3 different sessions if you so please. And that's the most effective thing is, yeah, like, as I said, like I had to practice 5-6 hours a day back in undergrad.
You mean your instrument?
That's a lot of motivation. Yeah, a guitar.
Right.
Yeah. So that's a lot of motivation to muster, especially when you're constantly messing up, you know, and you have a concert to perform in the next week. Like, how do you manage all this music, you know, half an hour of music? and you're supposed to be happy and smiling as you make mistakes, you know. So the way we always did it is we would split up the pieces, you know. And like I said earlier, if you don't like how you sound in this piece, you leave that, you go to the next thing, and then you come back and you just pick it up another day. Maybe today you only were able to do an hour because you just broke up with your girlfriend or whatever, and then tomorrow, then you can do your 5 hours and just forget about her or whatever, you know. There's always a way to get around it, I think.
Yeah, I think that's a great point when you said, you know, if it's grammar is not grammar is not for everybody every day, you know. So maybe today's just not a grammar day. Maybe tomorrow will be. Exactly. And you can always come back to it. I think that's great point. All right, any other ideas? Yes, Oscar?
For myself, I like to save some language candy that I really want to like to do or to experiment. For example, when I was learning English, I had a ton of series that I wanted to watch, but I only watched them when I fell down. So in that off day where I had to do some stuff and I didn't get to study, then I would say, okay, let's see this and let's get, like, I don't know, in an English mood. So in my case, I would say, like, for example, for Japanese, reserve a manga or an anime that I really want to watch, or a movie or a book. And if I don't get to study, well, like, it's even like a pleasure to me, like, okay, now I get to do this.
Beautiful. I love what you said about language candy. Saving up your language candy. I think we're gonna use that. We're gonna say by another Add1Challenge or Oscar. Saving up your language candy and indulge and enjoy your language candy when you finish studying. How cool is that?
Okay, maybe there's another addition.
Yes, Amir. And
you might set up a punishment like eating an onion if you didn't accomplish that.
Whatever works for you, you know. Whatever works for you. If you like to set a punishment,
it's something like that.
Yes.
I'm just kidding. Thank you.
I mean, you can. If you don't study, you eat an onion.
Yes,
you can also do that. All right, Nina.
Yeah, I just wanted to add on to what Oscar was saying. I think it's great to kind of shift the mindset a little bit, like you suggested, on a day where I really don't feel like studying. I think to do is being like kind of beating themselves up and being like, oh, I don't want to study today, but you know, okay, I'm really going to do it. And then they kind of force themselves to do it. And then they're like, okay, so because I don't want to study, I'll do 1 hour of grammar. Or because I didn't study yesterday, I'll do, like, you know, something to sort of punish me, or like something so that I make up for what I didn't do yesterday. But I think what you said is great. Like, if I don't feel like studying already, then finding something like sweet, finding your language candy and doing that instead. So it's kind of almost like a, you know, it's something that you're looking forward to doing, rather than like, no, I have to sit down, I have to do this, and like kind of being like the strict German person behind you. I'm German, so I can say that. The strict German person who's saying, no, you have to study, you have to do your thing. No, just find your language candy and do that. I think that's really great.
Love it. Genius. Language candy. People get it right away. Language candy. Yum. You know, it's great. A great point what you said about like punishment. I think in the beginning of the Add1Challenge, when I first started 3 years ago, punishment is something that motivates me a lot. Motivates me to do things. But after a while, what happens to punishment is it works for only short term. You can only punish yourself for so long until you go like, screw it, I'm not going to do it anymore. So short term's okay, but if you want long-term success, I think rewards works a lot better than short-term punishments. So that's what I want to add in that. And the last thing I want to say is that when we, in the midst of struggles and you don't want to study anymore, right? We always forget why we study this language and why we want to learn to speak this language in the first place. So create something that's visual or something that you can remind yourself why you're learning this language in the first place. I think that's a really important point.
Can we do the visualization exercise together?
Okay, let's do, now we're at this point, let's do our visualization exercise together. So I want everybody to close your eyes, including the people who are not watching, who are watching this one, who are not in the call. Close your eyes. Now I want you to imagine today is day 90. Today is the day 90 of the Add1Challenge. You work hard for the past 90 days. There are lots of ups and downs. You met a lot of new friends in this group, and also you met a lot of new friends in your target language. And you just completed that 15-minute conversation with a native speaker. Skype, you just press stop recording, and you just completed the Add1Challenge by having that 15-minute conversation. Something that you wanted to achieve in the beginning, something that maybe you think that you couldn't have done before the Add1Challenge. Now I want you to feel how you feel right now. How do you feel about yourself after accomplishing this goal? What doors opened up for you after you're able to hold a 15-minute conversation in the language you wanted to speak? Feel how you feel right now. So remember how this feels, and I want you to slowly come back. Slowly come back. And share with us, how do you feel after, as if that you finish and accomplish your goal of holding a 15-minute conversation? Share with us. Who would like to share?
Yes.
Amir, go ahead.
Yes, I felt that I'm in America.
You see yourself in America. Great.
Yes, actually, I have an interview the next month in March with Native Americans, and if it is my language in English is good, I will be good. Like something about the cultural exchange for about 1 month. If I have been accepted, just in case. Yes, for that I have been.
So how do you feel?
Imagine myself.
I can see how you feel, but tell us how you feel.
Great.
It's on your face.
It's so great. Yes, this way of motivation, of feelings that I talked to you about, mentioned before. This is very important to enhance the abilities, or enhance the positive feelings, pushing the positive feelings towards the other.
Great, thank you. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Okay, next. Oscar, you want to share?
Oh yeah, microphone. Well, I just felt this wow of learning. What happened personally for me is that I learned English from a very young age, and I kind of forgot how I did it, if that makes any sense at all.
I understand.
Like, when I noticed, I was able to hold out a conversation, and from there on, I just polished myself to a fluent degree. But right now, that is it's a much more conscious approach to learning a language. Apart from the rush of adrenaline from being able to do it, is just remembering to myself how much I learned about me, like what works for me and what doesn't work for me, and how I can repeat this many times from there on.
So what you got through that visualized exercise, you felt, is that you felt you understand yourself more?
Yes, I feel like I'm able to understand how my mind and my learning process works, and that gives me more motivation and more energy for doing this with Japanese to a more proficient degree and with other languages in the future.
Great. What doors open up is that you can apply this into other languages in the future. Got it.
Exactly.
Great. Anybody else like to share how they felt after the exercise? Or...
Sure, I can share. That was just a great feeling. I was kind of smiling and grinning with my eyes closed. It'll be a great accomplishment. I think I'll not feel the frustration anymore, and I really, really love speaking German, and I love German people and culture. So to get to the point where I can actually do it without so much frustration will be a very rewarding feeling. So can't wait.
I think that's a great point there. Like, I think people underestimated the sense of accomplishment and the reward that comes on day 90. I think for some people who've done the A1 Challenge before, they understand what I'm saying. Like, it's just because you go through so much in 90 days, you want to give up, but you push through. You met new friends, and you go through all these things, and then you can hold a 15-minute conversation on day 90. That sense of accomplishment that is so rewarding. And I'm glad that Stu, you actually you felt that, you saw that. All right, one last one. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. So hey Jake, so I actually did German for my Add1 Challenge, and I totally know how you feel. And I was like, oh my God, this is so much work. But now I actually live in Germany, so that's where I'm studying. And Germans are so welcoming, and they really are very patient, because you can't really interrupt people in German in a sentence because the verb is at the end, right? So you have to listen even if you don't want to. And so Germans, they sit there, and they're so used to immigrants that it's fine for them. And they know that there's so many coming in, and with all the refugees and things, so so don't worry about it. It's not like French, and I speak French, so I know what it's like. But yeah, I'm just really excited. Let's say I don't get this scholarship to go to this music festival program in Italy. So what? I learned Italian, and it wasn't exactly the highest thing on my bucket list to do, but it was definitely there on the languages I wanted to learn. But I have a lot of people I'll get to surprise, once I meet them. And, you've had that where you've learned the language and have met people from in your past, and then surprise them because it's the language they speak. And so the hope is that I'll come back home to New York and walk around the neighborhood and go to pizzerias and just say, hey, ciao. And then they'll be like, what? Because my face doesn't really match Italian, if you haven't noticed. But so yeah, I'm just excited to see if Tuscany is waiting for me. And if not, who knows? The people will meet on the road. So yeah.
Great. Thank you for sharing, man. And yeah, you did a challenge in German. Now you're in Germany. How was that? Can you share a little bit how it was, how it is after doing A1 Challenge and being a whole 15-minute conversation, and then you live in Germany?
Yeah, I mean, it was, the Add1 Challenge is definitely one of the most important parts of the whole thing, but it's a part. And so it came with a lot of stuff. I bought Glossica to help me along with that, and I watched a lot of Easy German. They have a lot of other languages as well for those of you that are looking for a good resource. And yeah, it was a mix of frustration and happy happiness, and then having that conversation, and then people going, you know, just everything just builds up little by little. You get excited, and then finally, once you go over there, you realize that, you know what, people are willing to listen to you if you make the effort, you know. And you know, Americans, it's actually a good thing that we're notorious for not learning another language sometimes, because then people go, oh, you cared enough to learn and like connect with me. And so regardless of where you come from, the likelihood is that whatever language you're learning, you probably shouldn't be speaking that language, quote unquote, you know, whether it be because of your race or where you come from. Like, it's surprising for people, and it's one of the best ways to become friends with people like that. Like, I know for most people, when you go to a party, you know, you're not sure who you should talk to in a room, but just the fact that you speak another language, people go nuts, and then you're friends with everyone so easily. Yeah, just
one of the
did
many
that really answer the question? I don't know.
Well, it's all good. It's all good.
My bad, Brian.
All good. All good. All good. All good. All right. Thank you for sharing. Anyways,
Yeah.
your experience of basically your language learning experience, and also how you feel after being in Germany. So I think that's all with the call. Is there any questions about the Add1 challenge? We have a few minutes only, but we had a lot of interaction today. Yes, Oscar, you have any question? You have a question?
Yeah. My question would be, how exactly do you think the Add1 challenge community comes together, or rather, how does the inner workings of it help us to understand that language? Because, for example, when someone talks to me in Spanish, they're learning Spanish, and they ask me something about grammar, I really don't know how to explain. How do we get past that thing where we want to help the other Add1 challengers, and still we don't know how to explain our own language?
Okay, you mean, and specifically that helping other people, helping each other. How do we help each other when when you're a native speaker, it's hard to understand, explain what grammar? How can we help? Okay, Nina, you want to go?
Yeah, for me, what I feel is the main part in the Add1 challenge is not so much just telling others how to best, for example, I'm a native German speaker. I don't know how to best tell people how to learn German, but I can, you know, for example, I studied Italian and I learned some Japanese, so I can tell people my experience with Japanese. So I can suggest the resources that I, as a fellow language learner of that language, use, for example. So that's the one part, like the recommendation of resources from others who are learning the same language as you. And then I think the main part is that a lot of the things in language learning we share in common no matter what language we're learning. For example, feeling down, feeling super excited, or feeling stuck. All of these things, a lot of times it doesn't matter so much the specificities of that language, but just to have that community of many other people who get the feeling of being stuck, and who then have their advice of, you know what, I felt stuck last week, this is what I did, this is what my friend did who's also in the Add1 challenge. And then we come together and support each other like that through our own experiences. So I think that's what I see as the major part.
Yeah, that's one major part of how the Add1 challenge can support each other, that even though we're learning a different language or the same language, that we are going through the same thing, so we can understand each other. Now, but at the same time, I think specifically, if you're helping out another person learning Spanish, like in exchange and having a conversation, how you can help this person out is, you know, I mean, I think in the beginning of the call, it's great to set up already. Okay, this is what I can help you with. Understand, okay, I am a native speaker, but if you ask me to explain grammar, I don't know how to do it. But what I can help you is to have a conversation with you in Spanish. So let's focus on that. If you like to learn about grammar, you can go somewhere, you can go to get a tutor to ask, or somebody who's learning who learned Spanish in their doubt and understanding how the grammar, you can ask them. But what you can contribute, and you can just establish those things in the beginning of the call, because then everyone's clear. Did that answer your question? Does that help? Oscar, let's Oscar go first.
No, my question has already been answered. Thank you very much.
Okay, great. Ina, you want to say something?
Yeah, just to add to the last part that you said, also what from personal language exchange with, for example, Italian and English, or Italian and German, what we can really learn from native speakers is the way they actually speak. Because how we learn it in books and for materials that teach you, a lot of times it's not how real life, for example, German or Italian sounds like. But when I'm speaking to somebody in German, my native language, then I just have these expressions that they pick up from talking to me, and that they don't really get anywhere else, right? So I think that's also a key part that we can offer each other.
Yes, it's okay if I add something. And maybe the cultural difference between the people, the obstacles or the struggles that they are facing, maybe the solutions or solutions for the problems may be different from. So that the answer is not suitable for all of the learners. Maybe I'm from Iraq, so my native language is Arabic. So the obstacles that I will face during my learning English maybe is different from the Japanese one when he want to learn the English. So I mean the cultural differences. So how can you do you take this point into consideration, or just you give the motivations for all of the people or the students that they want to learn, without taking into consideration the cultural differences? Thank you.
Do you mean how can we solve that despite of a cultural difference? Solving the
yes, maybe the answer. Sorry, Brian. Maybe the answer for the Arabic one, for the same problem, definite problem.
Yeah.
But the answer for the Arabic person may be different.
Right.
Or maybe different from that for the Japanese one. Is that clear?
Nina, you want to say something?
I can't hear.
Can't hear you.
Okay. One of the keys that makes the Add1Challenge so amazing, I think, is that everyone learns how they learn best. Everyone learns what works best for them. That's exactly why there's not, like you said, there's not one way. This is how you learn a language. You do that and then you achieve your goal. No, but we all get together from 50 or so different cultures and native languages, and then we figure out what works with my culture, what works with my interest area, what works exactly for me. And I think that's the key that the Add1Challenge gives us, the space to explore what works best for me and my specific circumstances.
Yes, this is what I meant. Thank you, Nina. Thank you very much.
And to add on top of that the Add1Challenge is, we built it so that we all explore what works for us individually. And at the same time, what we can do for each other is that we are all open. And I think this is one of the reasons why this is a great community, because we are open and we understand the hardship of what you're going through is different than what I'm going through, but I'm open to listening to what you're going through and let's see how we can actually help each other out, because we all, I don't know how many different countries are in this call, and just having that openness and understanding at the other people's point of view so that we can help each other out this way. And that's
very clear.
That's how we can help each other.
Very
all right.
Good. Thank you.
I think we ran over 6 minutes. So wrap this up. thank you so much for participating in this kickoff call, and I can't wait to see your progress in the next 90 days. And that's it for today. And if you have any questions, you can post it under the comments or inside in the post of the Facebook group or under this video, and then we'll get to you. And thank you so much, and I'll see you soon in the Add1Challenge.
Thanks to you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
See you soon.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Anna.
Bye.